One mic.
All I need is one mic.
What's the name of the show?
One mic with Big Mike.
You know, ain't nobody getting hurt, ain't nobody, there's no crime being committed.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
This is real life stuff that's happened to me.
Well, you know what?
You, and you.
One mic with Big Mike.
I like to be able to do what I want to do.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limits.
Meek Mill's concert is not called the Hell Yeah, I Banged Khloe Kardashian concert.
And now, your host,
Put your hands together for the one, the only
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
And welcome into a Monday on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Hope you guys had a great weekend. I am, of course, your host, Big Mike. Being heard right now on Spreaker.com. Well, right now and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 o'clock on Spreaker.com and the Spreaker app for all of your mobile devices. So make sure you go ahead and download that. And as well, tell a friend to tell a friend, man. Spread the word. The numbers are looking good and crispy, and they coming up. The show is growing by, well, not by leaps and bounds, by, little by little. It's happening. Don't forget to also follow me on Spreaker. Once you sign up for your free Spreaker account, it's just like signing up for Facebook or Twitter or any of those things. Sign up for your free Spreaker account. Then search for my show, One Mic with Big Mike. That's spelled the number 1, M-I-C, W-I-T-H-B-I-G, M-I-K-E. And once you do that, you got full access to my show, every show that I've done going back to November. Also, the live shows at 7 o'clock. And once you click on the show live, you see that little thought bubble at the bottom? Go ahead and click on that, and you guys can find yourself part of the show via the live interactive chat room. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram using the same handle, One Mic with Big Mike. Facebook is a little bit different. It's facebook.com, O-N-E-M-I-C, W-I-T-H-B-I-G-M-I-K-E. Still One Mic with Big Mike. Just instead of using the number 1, you have to spell out O-N-E. And also, I told you guys last week, the little website is coming. Not the big full-blown situation. That's to come in just a second. But onemicwithbigmike.com will be coming pretty soon here. The email address is already set up if you guys want to send emails to your boy. Holler at me and, tell me anything stupid or if, you got any, you guys want to sponsor any particular part of the show, an hour of the show, a segment of the show, whatnot, you guys can do that as well. We're open for business, man. It's Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Simple, right? Also, don't forget, I'm trying to tell you guys last week, the other big thing that I'm working on, urbansportsonline.com. No fair catching allowed, man. It's going to be some upfront and in your face. Like, if you like what I'm doing here, anticipate more along this, but an entire platform dedicated to what is commonly known, I think wrongly so, but whatever, known as urban sports talk. Something that, a lot of the bros, a lot of the young ladies, y'all clamor for, why is it no one talking to us on sports radio? Well, the opportunity is coming shortly, and the more information I get on the situation, I'll definitely pass it on to you guys as well. Also, during tonight's show, I'm going to tell you guys how you can win a pair of tickets to check out my guy, Rodney Perry, comedian, actor Rodney Perry at the Atlanta Comedy Theater up in Norcross off of Jimmy Carter. I'll tell you guys how you can get a pair of tickets to see that joint. Rodney Perry was on the show on Friday. I left that interview with Rodney actually saying to myself, damn, I feel good about that. And I rarely do that. Like, it's rare that I extend my hand to pat myself on the back about anything I do broadcasting wise. But I felt decent about, the conversation with Rodney, man. It felt good. Like, I could talk to him, more and more and more. And hopefully, man, we get an opportunity to do more stuff like that, not only with Rodney, but with other comedians on Friday, like call it something like Funny Friday or something, wacky and stupid like that. And speaking of talking to people, 7:30 this evening, former All-Pro, Pro Bowl linebacker out of the University of Michigan, former spent a couple of years, about 4 years with the Indianapolis Colts playing with Peyton Manning. As you guys possibly know, unless you've been living under a rock somewhere, Peyton Manning announced his retirement from professional football today. So Cato June is going to join us at 7:30 to give us some, to recollect some things that some memories that he may have of Peyton, and give us his thoughts on the entire Peyton Manning legacy, as well as Cato's now a high school football coach. And I'm not sure the next time, I'm not a real big follower of high school sports, so I'm not sure the next time I'll get a chance to ask some of the questions I want to ask him as it pertains to concussions, like what the conversation is like at the high school level, like amongst players and coaches at that level. I read the story to you guys last week about the Ivy League now banning tackles in practice, or man-on-man tackle in practice during the regular season. So I wanted to, pick his brain about that and see what's going on at the lower level, because in my opinion, and I've stated this before on this show, I think the most vulnerable level of football is not college, it's not pro, it's not Pop Warner, it's the high school level, because they're restricted by things like school district budgets. Like if some kid, something bad happens to a kid, and a bunch of parents want to get together, or some kids and a bunch of parents want to get together and file a class action, you can shut down a whole school district football program. You know what I mean? It's not like Pop Warner's constantly getting money in. It's a national organization. So is the NFL, so is college football. There's plenty of money, TV money through the NFL and college football to handle a couple of lawsuits. I don't think high school football as a whole can deal with something like that. So, I want to talk to him about all that kind of stuff. Now, since we're going to be talking to him at 8 or at 7 o'clock, 7:30, excuse me. It's already 7 o'clock. At the top of the hour, we're going to do on this day our daily look back into the annals of sports. Some pretty good things on the ledger for today. I also want to continue the conversation. I want to advance the conversation about Roddy White. The Atlanta Falcons, currently the Atlanta Falcons leading career leader in wide receiver stats, in most wide receiver stats. He was released on Friday, I guess, and he didn't take it very well. You know what I mean? I've been fired before too, and I ain't take it well at all either. So I ain't mad at him. But some of the things that he was saying, I think people are very quick to say, "Oh, see, we knew something was wrong. We knew this was going on." But in order for certain things to happen, we got to zoom out and look big picture. I'm not saying what Roddy's alleging didn't happen or isn't the case, but if I am to believe that it did, and I'll tell you guys all about what it is, once we get to that part of the show. If I'm to believe it, I have to believe a whole lot of other things too. So I want to talk about that. See, I saved the Aaron Andrews story all week last week until Friday, and I gave it a little, blah, blah, blah. But today, she got broke off, man. And I'm still looking for some ladies to jump inside this chat room, man. Go to Spreaker.com or go to the Spreaker app and download it. And hop on in this chat room, man. The number 1 MICWITHBIGMIKE, One Mike with Big Mike. Because I got some questions about this Aaron Andrews situation. And I don't want to seem insensitive because I don't understand it. I want to get some perspective on it. The title for this show is, who died? Perspective. That's who. And I think perspective is gone. I had a bit of a debate situation last night with one of my new player partners, Renee, about a situation that our perspectives just different. And Renee found out some things about me that, as lovable as I can be sometimes, I can be equally as hateable. You know what I mean? So, and I'm a very self-aware person. I try to be a self-aware person, and I know this about myself. So, and maybe I'll tell you guys about it, as the show goes on, depending on how much of the stuff I have on my in my notes I get through today. So, the other thing that's going on, the preliminary part of NFL free agency is going on right now. So you're hearing stories about guys like Bruce Irvin and Mario Williams. Ryan Clady actually retired today amongst in true offensive lineman form. Like, I don't want no fanfare. Let me do it on the same day as Peyton Manning so no one pays attention. Good for him though, man. Get in and get out. James Laurinaitis is said to be having conversations with the Atlanta Falcons. Oh, and also we got to advance this Atlanta Falcons story. about at the combine. What's his name? Eli Apple from Ohio State being asked if he liked boys or like men or whatever it was. Well, the culprit has been revealed, and I'll tell you guys about that as well. And over the weekend, Jesus Christ, over the weekend, UFC, big time in the news today, even amongst the Peyton Manning retirement talk. And also, Golden State Warriors took an L yesterday. My first time this season, I swear this to be the truth, the first time I've sat down and actually watched an entire LA Lakers basketball game. They happen to be the best team in the league. Go figure. And everybody wants to give Rihanna credit. I saw this on online earlier today. People are saying it was Rihanna. Nah, she goes to a lot of Lakers games. I don't watch none. And just so happened when I watch they win, yeah, probably need to get your boy the credit. I'm just saying, I ain't, like I told you before, I ain't trying to break my arm patting myself on the back. But it is what it is. Okay. So, yeah. Let's start with Peyton Manning, right? Weird stuff happens when things like this happen, when greats decide they're gonna walk away. And full disclosure, a report did come out today that the LA Rams were kind of kicking the tires on the old girl and, looked her over a little bit, checked the odometer, and just realized, probably this Peyton Manning thing ain't going to work. Like, the thing was, they were like, we'll bring him in. No guarantee he'll start. Nah, Peyton Manning ain't trying to hear that. He got to save face. Like, this is not a situation where necessarily Peyton Manning is walking away from the game. The game has told Peyton Manning it's time to walk away. Because John Elway was going to cut that ass in March, 2 days from now, beginning of the league year. Yeah, he's going to cut that ass. He wasn't going to pay Peyton Manning no damn, what was it, $15, $16 million guaranteed, 19, something crazy like that? No. Hell no. John Elway was going to cut that ass. So you save face, saying that I've decided, nah, not really. For you to get all the credit for being so thorough, I can only assume that you were thorough in this situation too. You went and put your feelers out to the teams that you would most prefer play for, and they kindly told you thank you, but no thank you. So the next step was to, as they kept saying today, ride off into the sunset, whatever the hell that is. And you can consider him amongst the maybe the smarter or the more fortunate. The fact of the matter is people don't even remember this. Jerry Rice got cut by Mike Shanahan. Yeah. That's how Jerry Rice's career ended. Wearing number 89 or something crazy with the Broncos, and Shanahan telling him that, yeah, I mean, you'll make the team, but as the fifth wide receiver, and there's not a chance that you'll dress every game because the fifth wide receiver, as we all know, here in Atlanta, like Devin Hester and what's the kid's name, Eric Weems, those type of dudes play special teams. Jerry Rice is 56 years old. Who putting him on who's gonna make him a gunner on the punt team? Nah, that ain't happening. So Jerry Rice just moved on. He went on home, man. It is what it is. Most people don't get even you put a graphic of Jerome Bettis up. Now he went out on top. Well, I mean, Jerome Bettis was kind of a player coach when he won the bus. He was like a passenger at that point. Willie Parker was the main guy. His stamp on that Super Bowl was, I think, something he told Willie Parker at halftime about. I don't know if you guys remember the play that Willie Parker broke for 60, 70 yards or whatever. Jerome Bettis told him what he saw from the sideline. Be patient, let it set up, calm down, and then hit it hard, or something like that. And then Willie Parker did it, and it ended up going the distance. That's, thanks, Coach Bettis. Michael Strahan's in a different situation. He actually was, I believe, the reason that they won that game. He, Matthias Kiwanuka, Justin Tuck, Osi Umenyiora, those boys up front, they were probably meant to be the MVP. If you could give a collective MVP for a Super Bowl, I think they got it. You know, the way they harassed Tom Brady and got him off that spot and put him on his ass. Yeah, but you know they don't do it like that. So Eli Manning went home. I think Eli Manning went home with a because of the pass to Mario Manningham, and he threw the that was the David Tyree. I'm sorry, the David Tyree thing, and then the pass to Plaxico Burress for the winner. So that's how that went down. But I watched the whole press conference, Peyton Manning, right? And he started off with the he got up and did the I'm about to cry sniffle or whatnot, and then for a good part of the speech he was giving, he had that like Tim Tebow cry voice going, but there were no tears. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't see any. And it's like I've gotta continue to keep you in the box that you've put yourself in. You know, and he even mentioned it during the press conference, no one was going to out-prepare me. So I got to believe that all that stuff, the dramatic pauses, the voice inflection kind of shifting when you talk about your granddad and when you start the press conference, that all that's orchestrated. And it's hard for me. It's the reason I tell people all the time, like, I don't know how people are married to, like dudes or females are married to, like, actresses and actors. Because how do you know? Like, if you're a good actress, like, how do I know what you're telling me or saying to me or the way you're acting, you know what I'm saying, is real? About my, nah. That's probably part of the reason that I don't look at, like, stuff like the Oscars and stuff like that, because, like, these people get up there and they're acting surprised and, all, stunned and joyful, and I don't know. You're winning an award for acting. How do I not know you're acting right now? It's just too much. It's too convoluted a notion for me to process in my little bitty brain. So I just kind of prefer not to. You feel me? But no, and then the hyperbole starts. The best retirement speech in the history of retirement speeches. How do you rate those? What happens there? Like, how do you even do it? Like, how do you quantitatively rate someone's retirement speech? Is it because he was up there like a politician, and because he read all the right things and he said all the names of the players that he went against, and he told what, I don't know, supposedly funny stories. Like, people do that thing where, like, if the preacher says something and it's supposed to be funny, like, you feel obligated to laugh type thing. And I don't know. Like, I didn't know Adam Schefter was using my daughter as a source. Ha, 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 ha. All right. Like, certain things are just, like, way uncomfortable to look at. And I'm looking at this thing, it's like, what's happening right now is you're witnessing the inevitable. Because somewhere around week 3, we knew. I mean, we knew. Like, my man ain't no coming back to this. However the season ends for the Broncos, yeah, this dude is shot. You know what I mean? He's limping through the season. He's like a blind man, in a landfield, or what is it called? A minefield. Yeah, can't be a landfill. God, I'm such an ignorant fool. Yeah, it can't be. It's in a minefield, man, and it doesn't take anything away from the things that he's done. Like D'Angelo Williams, the running back for the Steelers. Oh my God, he was like, yeah, Peyton, great, but yeah, if he was anybody else with any other name playing the way he played last year, he wouldn't even be in the league for nothing. He wouldn't be in the league at all. I was like, well, it sounds like people on Facebook call him like he's salty and all these kind of things. And yeah, it gives off a note and a hint of, a flavor of salt being there. But there is a strong aroma of truth also. You know what I mean? Very strong aroma of truth, man. And for what it's worth, man, it's just what it's going to be. Like, unless you're like Barry Sanders or, I don't know who else before my time. Like Jim Brown just got up and was like, you know what, I'm gonna go act in some black exploitation movies. I'm gonna do that gig real quick. But I don't know, even like guys like Marshawn Lynch this year. Marshawn Lynch is all broken up. You know, you can't run the ball the way he does and like have no long career. Calvin Johnson, like my guy Branson Wright the other day, he talked about Calvin Johnson retiring in his prime. I was like, yeah, true. If we're talking 5 years ago. Yeah, man, hell no. Calvin Johnson ain't been in his prime in a good minute. So very few people get to do that, get to walk away at the top. You know, not just at the top as far as winning a championship, but at the top of their game physically. You dig what I'm saying? Because it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen to Tom Brady. You know, they just re-upped him to 2019. It's gonna happen to him. He's gonna fall off the cliff. It happened to Brett Favre. You know, we saw Brett Favre didn't miss a game in 20-some years. All of a sudden, he's just getting racked. You know what I mean? His body like, come on, man. This football, at some point, we got to really believe that we retiring, we leaving. And after a while, yeah, dudes was like, F this dude. We going to start punishing his ass more. And eventually, he listened to his body and was like, I got to bounce, man, before I die out here. And, you know, the Brett Favre is no worse for wear. You know, I remember when Dan Marino retired, like 99 or something like that, 99, 2000. There were rumors that he was going to go to Minnesota, you know, extend his career a little bit, play indoors, that type of deal. But I think he realized, man, because they had just gotten like killed by the Jaguars the year before, in what ended up being his final game, like the AFC, won the AFC Championship. It was the game before the semifinals, right? They got murdered by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Dan Marino's final game. And people thought, he can't go out that way. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go out that way. Because sometimes, like by that time, he's wearing like 2 big bulky knee braces. And it was like, it just looked uncomfortable. You feel me? It's One Mike with Big Mike right here. Spreaker.com. Spreaker.com is what I'm saying. And the app for your mobile devices. Make sure you're following me on Spreaker. Sign up for your free Spreaker account and follow my show, One Mic with Big Mike, so you can get a glimpse of the show or listen to the show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday starting at 7 o'clock. That is the number 1, MIC, WITHBIGMIKE. Use that same handle for Twitter and Instagram as well. And like my Facebook page, facebook.com/ONEMIC. WITHBIGMIKE. After a while, I won't have to give you guys all that information. I'll just say go to the website, onemicwithbigmike.com, and everything will be there. So that's in the works. Hopefully by the end of the week, everything will be together in some semblance of good fashion. You know, I don't want it to be boogie, but you know, it ain't got to be the best thing since sliced bread. It's there to serve a purpose. Also, don't forget, I got a pair of tickets for you and someone else to go check out my guy Rodney Perry this weekend, either Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday at the Atlanta Comedy Theater up in Norcross, Georgia, right off of Jimmy Carter Boulevard. So keep listening, and I'll tell you guys how you can get yourself a pair of tickets. So yeah, no more Peyton Manning. The Brock Osweiler thing is out there right now. Apparently they offered him like $14 million, and that's cool money. What would turn out to be $14 million annually? You know, it only, the guaranteed money is what's most important. And of that guaranteed money, like the actual guaranteed money, like you got to break NFL contracts down like 3 times before you get to the person's actual pay, because like they'll call stuff like roster bonuses and workout bonuses guaranteed money. But like this, like right now, if they cut Colin Kaepernick out in California, some of that money that was quote unquote guaranteed, not right now, but if they cut him before the league year, his contract or those guarantees, he won't get them because he's not on the roster and he won't be able to work out on the roster. So those two parts for how many more years he has on that deal, they're not what we would normally in the regular world consider to be guaranteed. That being said, Brock Osweiler needs to just sit back, see who's coming his way. I heard who did I hear today? Colin Cowherd talking about what the hell is he thinking about? He ought to be running to sign that deal. No, you telling that dude to do bad business. Like, if he don't have to sign anything right now, why? What are they gonna do? I heard Ryan Fitzpatrick. They're gonna let him hit the open market. John Elway gonna go sign Ryan Fitzpatrick. Cool, whatever. That's fine. No, you sit back. The Texans have been rumored to be hollering at them. See what the Texans offer. If they offer 18 and you really want to be in Denver, maybe you go back for 17. You put the price of $1 million on your happiness and playing with a good team. Or maybe you be extra smart and wait to see if Danny Trevathan gets re-signed. Wait to see if Von Miller gets re-signed. Wait to see if that same defense that won this Super Bowl, you know what I mean, is going to be back helping you get back to another Super Bowl, one of your own. Yeah, there's no rush. This kid doesn't have to be in anybody's rush. Not in my opinion. Also, don't forget, 7:30, bottom of the hour, former Colts linebacker, Cato June. He's going to join us to talk some Peyton Manning stuff, but some other stuff, football. He went to the University of Michigan, so I'm going to talk to him about Jim Harbaugh, his crazy ass, and he's coaching high school football right now, so I want to talk to him about that as well. So it's going to be more than just, it's not going to be that whole, hey, everybody, let's go swing on Peyton Manning's ball sack day like it was today. That sounded bad, I know. But it's true. It's like, golly, this dude isn't dying. They make it sound like, I remember when Peyton was, man, he was no, he's not dying. He's about to go enjoy all of that money that he's made from DirecTV and Papa John's and playing football for 18 years. Yeah, he's about to go enjoy himself. And then, people are talking about possibly seeing Peyton Manning back on the scene as some sort of minority owner, maybe him being in the broadcast booth or a GM, somebody in the front office. Look, man, he's Peyton freaking Manning. He ain't gonna want for no opportunities, man. It's basically gonna be him telling other people no. That's what the scenario is gonna be for that dude. Let me make sure I got everything else I wanted to get out of this Peyton Manning situation, because really, I don't have a lot to give to the situation. I mean, good for him. Good to see he's walking out of the game, because that neck situation, yeah, it was touch and go for a minute. You feel like, dang, this dude had 5 neck surgeries and he coming back to play football. But he said all of his doctors was like, yeah, it's a go. He got multiple opinions, and no one told him that anything catastrophic would happen, that he was, the only thing he would have to deal with or worry about is regaining the strength, which brings us to the HGH stuff. You know what I mean? That's why I said before, like, whatever, dude. I don't blame him. For one, yeah, it's a little skeevy as far as, the legal ramifications, the things that you're supposed to use HGH for, and the things that you're not supposed to use it for. So that part. But as far as the NFL is concerned, the law didn't pass. I mean, the law, the rule about players or the testing and all this stuff for HGH wasn't implemented till way after that. So if I'm the greatest quarterback, and not if I'm just a regular quarterback, like if I'm Geno Smith, and somebody's telling me, like, you need to take this if you want to continue doing this sport, playing the sport you've been playing your whole life, yeah, I'm not no hypocrite, cuz I'm gonna do it. Like, somebody told me you could take something right now, and your show will be heard by 10 million people. Yeah, while I'm in the mic, I'm taking it. I'm not even taking no break. You feel me? I'm taking it immediately. And many of you would too. You know what I mean? Oh, he's a cheater, and oh my God. Yeah, save it, man. Save it. It's One Mic with Big Mike. Like I said before, I'm going to come back after the break. We're going to talk to Cato June, former All-Pro linebacker, teammate of Peyton Manning with the Indianapolis Colts for about 4 years. He kind of fell right into the sweet spot with Peyton too. Like when Peyton was really just busting dudes in the, he had like Marvin and Dallas Clark was in that joint, and Reggie Wayne was there, all these dudes at the top of their game. The edge was there. Edgerrin James was holding it down. Like he caught everything, sweet, in a real sweet spot. So I want to ask him about playing defense on that team, man. Kind of knowing that once he hit, it was going to be a free-for-all. Bob Sanders and those boys and Dwight Freeney, just get after the quarterback. After Peyton get up on these cats by 3, let's go get them. seem to be the defensive strategy. So we'll do all that next. Right here, the One Mike with Big Mike show. Of course, I'm Big Mike, being heard Spreaker.com every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7. Please spread the word and tell a friend to tell a friend. Also, make sure you're following me on Twitter and Instagram at the number 1 MIC, WITHBIG MIKE. And I'm going to tell you guys how you can get your hands on a pair of those tickets to see my guy Rodney Perry down at the Atlanta Comedy Theater. So we'll do all that next, right here on One Mike with Big Mike.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzz driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You could kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says, "I'm a catch," more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I heard on the news about that 5-year-old who found his uncle's gun. The kid didn't know it was loaded.
I heard on the news about that 14-year-old girl who was bullied online. For like a year, she couldn't take it anymore, so she got her dad's gun from his nightstand.
I heard on the news about that guy who broke into someone's house, stole a gun from the hall closet.
He accidentally shot his cousin in the head.
She killed herself.
And later, killed the owner of the store he was trying to rob.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the One Mike with Big Mike show. Appreciate everybody joining me on this Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. It was a beautiful day outside here in the A, man. I just went down to the park like yesterday and just sat there and had me some lunch, man. Just got my thoughts together, man. It was that kind of day. Don't forget I'm being heard on Spreaker.com every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday starting at 7 o'clock. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend. Also, go ahead and download that app for all your mobile devices. And then follow my show, One Mike with Big Mike. That is the number 1, MIC, WITHBIG, MIKE. And use that same handle for my Twitter and my Instagram. And then follow me, or I guess you call it like me, like my page, Facebook.com/ONE, MIC, WITHBIG, MIKE. And like I mentioned before, the One Mike with Big Mike website, onemikewithbigmike.com is coming. Be patient, it's coming. But you can email me at any time. The email is set up, so it's onemike@onemike.com. Now, as promised, told you guys, the big news today, Peyton Manning got up out of there, man. He packed up his cleats and he's going home. And as promised, we're being joined right now by one of his former teammates, one Cato June. He's a former All-Pro with the Indianapolis Colts, former Pro Bowler, now coaching some high school football, so we'll definitely talk to him about that as well, y'all. Give it up. Oh, that's the wrong button. Give it up one time. Oh, Cato June. Oh, man. Give me,
what's going on, Mike?
Everything good, brother. Give me.
You need that. All I need is one mic. The Nas playing in the intro.
That's
man.
What it is. That's what the intro is. Matter of fact, see, you got a mind for radio, brother.
My bad.
Yeah, that's what the intro to the show is. All I need is one mic.
I know that's right.
Give me like some like one of your craziest memories on playing with Peyton Manning. Like, you played with him, like I was telling the people before you came on, like you fell into that sweet spot where he had definitely at that point he figured it out, and that dude was like on autopilot while you was there. So you saw him at times where we didn't get to see him at practice. What was that like?
you get over it real quickly, or you'll get cut. You know.
Word.
If you're watching him, make great throws. You see Reggie Wayne and Marvin making ridiculous catches at practice. Some of the most ridiculous catches I've seen at practice. And you got Edgerrin James, you got Marcus Pollard, and you got all these stars everywhere. You know, you will get cut thinking about that. Yeah. So you kind of get over it real quick. But the thing, you get as a young player coming in is they know how to handle business. You come to work every day, takes every rep at practice. You don't really hear a lot of hollering and screaming just because that was Dungy's style. But, from the offensive guys, he kind of had it under control. And so to see a leader not only leading by example, being able to, physically perform, but also to see other guys around him, one, become better and take hold of that leadership, those leadership qualities. So you just kind of get in line.
What's your thoughts on? I find it kind of weird, like when great players of any sport retire, the way it's presented to people, like they get it's like a eulogy happening. Like, man, Peyton's going to be leaving us, and he's going to be missed. Isn't it something that you should probably be a little bit more upbeat about? Because really what you're talking about is a dude quitting his job. At its most rudimentary level, it's a dude quitting his job. But as fans, I guess people, they feel like they should take it that hard. But as a former player, how do you look from the outside looking in, not just at Peyton, but any player, any great player, Michael Strahan or anybody that leads, Ray Lewis, and the attitude and that I can't even say it, eulogization that goes on?
It kind of is a eulogy, though. You think about it because, when you have a great player that brings so much more than just, his own presence, he makes other people around him better. He makes other people want to watch the game. When people say, "Oh, you played for the Colts, you won the Super Bowl, you played with Peyton," huh? I'm talking about my kids now. They probably were, 5 or 6
right.
when we were, on our run, and they, "Oh, you played with Peyton? You played with Peyton? Do you know him? Do you have his number?" Like, the energy in which people are attracted to him, and that's how it is with a great player. So with that, becomes almost like part of the game. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, there'll never be another Peyton Manning. Mm-hmm. Part of the game kind of dies when great players leave the game. Somebody else has to fill that void. Somebody will go and throw another 20 touchdown passes and, whatnot, but who is going to fill the void of, the stardom, that Peyton Manning brought to the game, and great players bring to the game with that respect. So it is almost like a mourning period because you're losing something that has been a part of the game for 18 years.
Yeah.
And so you go to expecting to see him on Sunday morning, Sunday afternoons, and it's gone. It's automatically gone. And so I think that part of it is why we kind of look at it, as a fan. And as a game, it's like, wow, we'll never see him play again. From a player's side, it's the same thing because it's hard to never, to say that you'll never be able to do this again. You'll never run out the stadium and then you'll have 70,000, 80,000 people screaming your name. You'll never be able to drop back and throw the ball. And you'll never be able to go get an interception. It just won't happen again.
Yeah, I can see it from that perspective, from the player's perspective. I can definitely see that.
So, I mean, it's kind of like one of those things where for some it's greater than others. For most people, you will never know. You won't even see a ticker on the bottom of the line.
Right.
But for people that, have the fan base and the greatness and the lure that a guy like Peyton Manning does, it's good to celebrate the greats of the game.
Cato June joins the One Mike with Big Mike show. He's a former NFL All-Pro at linebacker for the Indianapolis Colts, also former teammate of one Peyton Manning, who just hung it up today. Make sure you guys are following Cato on Twitter, IG, Facebook, at Cato June. That's CATOJUNE. There's this notion, like you talked about all the guys that were on that offense, the Edgerrin Jameses, the Reggie Waynes, the Marvin Harrisons, but that defense wasn't it wasn't nothing to sneeze at. Like guys, Freeney, Bob Sanders was there at the time, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Bob Sanders,
y'all had some
Mike Dawg,
right.
David Thornton,
Y'all had some
Brackett.
dudes that could play. real quick. Did y'all have a nickname for Gary Brackett, dog?
G-Baby.
Really?
Remember the movie Hardball?
Yeah.
Hey, the moment I said, this G-Baby, he's a little guy on the team, but, he was the heart of the defense. To this day, I call him G-Baby. Everybody else probably, that are, within, I would say close friends range calls him, people know him as G-Baby. And it's kind of funny because the kid was, I don't know if you remember Hardball, the little kid.
Yeah, the one that died, right?
The one that died, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But, it was G-Baby, it was because he was a little guy, but he got it done.
But in my little mind, this whole time, I swear this to you, my whole little mind, I just pictured people calling him like Fathead Gary. Because he's like you say, he's a little dude, but you see him on TV, he got the head of a lineman, right? You would think like his head don't mismatch with his lower body. It's like the weirdest looking thing, this big marshmallow sitting on top of his shoulder. Anyway, let me get back.
Man, something good. That's my guy, man. That's my guy. Don't go with him too, man.
No doubt.
I'll tell you like this. One thing about Garrett is this. I'll tell you, he's the type of guy that he knew his limitations. He knew what he was. He knew what he wasn't. But at the same time, you deal with that your entire life. Somebody telling you what you can and can't do.
Yeah.
10 years later in the league, he's a Super Bowl champion, had a great career, now has a ton of restaurants. It's like when you're in that situation where somebody's always telling you what you can't do because you're short and got a big head, all right, he's too slow, he's fat, he doesn't look like a football player. All that stuff doesn't matter. Do you get on base?
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
He balled.
Gary Brackett got on base.
Yeah, he did.
Absolutely.
He did. Now, the question I was leading to, though, those guys you guys had on defense, even today, even to this very, very day, 18 years in the league, you guys kind of get that stigma of Peyton Manning having to carry that defense. Now, I understand what it was at the beginning of his career, the early years, but during, like I call it, that sweet spot, it seemed to be a very good marriage of the two things. Like Peyton Manning would get up by 3 points, and then it just like sick the dogs on them. Like you led the league. Did you lead linebackers in interceptions one year?
Yeah, I did. And if I didn't get a sports turner that year, I think I'd have led the league. And I was talking trash to all the DBs at the Pro Bowl, and they were laughing and stuff. They was like, yeah, we was kind of scared at first because we was like, man, are you ever gonna slow down?
Word. So
yeah, I mean,
so what do you?
We had it. I mean,
how do you feel about that though? Kind of being talked about as though like, yeah, man, Peyton Manning had to do all the heavy lifting all these years, when in fact, not really, because like Bob Sanders was a Pro Bowler as well. So was Dwight Freeney.
Absolutely. So was Robert Mathis. So
Absolutely.
was Antoine Bethea. But at the same time, you look at it, and that's the great thing about team sports, is that it's 53 guys on a team.
Yep.
And then you have another 8 guys on practice squad. You can't win. One guy doesn't just win.
Please
if
say
Peyton
that
Manning
again.
throws 1,000 touchdowns, we all win. And that's the great thing about it. At the end of the day, his Super Bowl ring looks just like my Super Bowl ring, looks just like Matt's Super Bowl ring, Reggie. Everybody's Super Bowl ring look the same. We all won together. Everybody has their individual accolades. Like you said, I was able to, go to the Pro Bowl, be an All-Pro at one point, So you can't really take that away from guys.
Yeah.
As a group, the defense wasn't this. That's great. We still went to the Super Bowl. We still got it done. Our best defensive team, our best team, we didn't get it done in 2005. So if you look at it, the best situations don't always work out.
Mm-hmm.
And really what it comes down to is what team can win in December, in January, and when you get into the playoffs, it's one and done. So you can say what you want, and we always took a back seat, which is cool because at the same time, we were able to just go out and play, have fun. We were a bunch of young guys. We learned the game, and we were around great players. Who could say they played with, a Hall of Fame coach, a Hall of Fame GM, probably 5 or 6 Hall of Fame players around me.
Yeah.
that's a great experience in my opinion. I don't feel no type of way, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, that's the lottery ticket right there. He's Cato June, former NFL All-Pro at linebacker for the Indianapolis Colts. He also played at the University of Michigan, played a little football up there in Ann Arbor as well. You guys, please follow him the way I do, at Cato June on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Now, to some serious stuff. Earlier this year, an Al Jazeera report came out, and people keep saying an Al Jazeera report came out implicating Peyton Manning, or no, that's not what happened. One dude said that products were shipped to his wife. That's not implicating him. That's really implicating his wife. But I want to get your feelings as a former teammate of his, knowing the stuff he went through later on after you got through playing with him, obviously, with the neck injuries and all this stuff. Like, how did you feel when you heard those things, when you heard about that documentary?
You know, it's unfortunate, man, because, you know, it's the love-hate relationship with the media. And you have some guys in the media that use a negative opportunity as a way to boost their own personal gain. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you do what you do to make your money and make your living. If that's how you want to make it, that's fine. But I don't have to like it. You know, I never could stand those type of guys that would try to use other people's downfalls as their way of making, you know, being a good journalist.
Yeah.
You know, journalism isn't saying, hey, let's just be messy and TMZ it and do all this. Like, to me, that's not journalism. Journalism, having a story, having some content, you know, having some facts, and try to make people better or make people aware. That I don't appreciate any time you try to slander a man's career at the end of it when it's over. You go back and say, oh, he did this, this, and this. Hey, this man had a great career. Everybody loved him, and now you're trying to make him become something, one, that he's probably not, two, that, you know, it's speculation. And at the end of the day, you know, if a guy breaks his neck, you know, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. If a guy breaks his neck and gets a little help from whatever steroid, he broke his neck, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Like,
you kind of read my mind right now, because that was going to be my follow-up question. Like, would you blame him? Because I don't. Like, here's my thing as a fan, my man.
I'm not blaming anybody. No. Hey, I'll tell you like this. I went to a spring training game with the Yankees when I was in Tampa. Took my son down to see a couple of spring training games. Mm-hmm. And, you know, St. Alex Rodriguez, he's gotten caught multiple times.
Right.
And at the end of the day, no one really cares because he's had $100, $200, $300 million contracts in his career. I really don't think he cares about what people think. You know, Peyton probably feels a little differently because he's always done things the right way. And no one wants to be accused of something, and no one wants to be slandered after the fact. We're talking about, you know, not only after the fact, but even other stuff that they're trying to bring up. Like that was 20 years ago. You know, like at what point does a man serve his sentence? It's like, hey, you stole something 10 years ago. You got a misdemeanor. You served 2 days in jail, and you want to bring it up 20 years ago. I just don't agree with that.
You mentioned your son just now, and before I run out of time on this interview, I want to make sure I ask you about the Cato June Jr. Socks fundraiser. I saw that on your Facebook page, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to tell the people that are listening about the Cato June Jr. Socks fundraiser.
Yeah, man. So my son's playing travel baseball, and all the parents are always required to fundraise. I said, let me just the wife thought it was a good idea to say, let's make a group GoFundMe. And I'm like, all right, cool. Didn't think nothing of it, and kind of took off. So it's kind of good because that maybe give the rest of the team another idea or opportunity to say, hey, we could do this to do our fundraiser because a lot of people don't understand, or if you're not into baseball, hey, it's an expensive thing. You can understand why it's been a dying breed in their city. So it's not something that's cheap, and that's why you see it moving farther and further outside of the city because it's hard to keep up. But that's what we're doing. We're doing the travel baseball. So I'm at the park with my sunflower seeds and my iPad doing the scorebook.
Oh man.
So I mean, it's good, man, because I like to see we're in PG County, which is a very, it's a high concentration of African American families, working class families, and we're probably the one one team that's going to be in Maryland, travel team that's going to be pretty much an all-black team, just because of the demographics of the area. But it's the one travel team in our little area. If you think about that, you go to Montgomery County or Howard County, you'll probably have 15 or 20 travel teams in that same age range. Whereas ours is that's our only organization. So I try to support, one, support my son, but two, support that organization because it's giving guys the opportunity to experience that travel baseball like some of the other more fluent counties outside of the D.C. area.
That's a wonderful thing, my man. He's Cato June. Got a couple more minutes with him. Former NFL All-Pro at linebacker. He's also coaching some high school football up there in the D.C., Maryland area, right?
Yep, right there in Springdale, Maryland, which is Bowie, PG County. That same D.C. suburb.
Now I want to ask you about this because I don't really talk about high school football or recruiting or any of those type of things. So I don't know when the next time I get a chance to talk to someone who deals in depth with high school football. But a couple of things came up last week. The Ivy League decided that they passed unanimously. They barred man-on-man tackling during the regular season. I want to make sure I say it properly. So tackling is not outlawed. They have machines and robots and things of that nature. And what they found is that it eliminated a lot of the injuries, a lot of nagging stuff, wearing down the players. And, there's this big concentration around avoiding as many head injuries as possible. So I want to know, first and foremost, how you feel about that strategy going forward, eliminating tackling from practices during the regular season. And then two, what is the conversation like amongst high school players, coaches like yourself, surrounding the concussion issue?
When to answer the second question, when you're dealing with kids, it's a little different.
Mm-hmm.
They have the opportunity to play big-time college football in Michigan. You understand what that is. Most of those guys will never see that.
Yeah.
Your first thing is to keep these kids safe and teaching them the proper way. And I think a lot of that is having more time with them, being able to teach them the proper way to use their body, in a violent way, I should say, because it's a violent game.
Absolutely.
And you're teaching them explosive collisions. But if you're doing it in the correct way, guys are not getting hurt. And that's the balance as a coach. When I go out there at practice, I don't want to lose a guy at practice.
Yeah.
And you learn that in the NFL. In college, it was, hey, you got 110 guys out there, we're getting after it. And that's the old way. You can't do that anymore. But that's the way we did it. So when you got to the NFL, you realize we don't tackle in practice ever. So it's not like a big thing. Like you learn how to practice full speed, full contact, but not taking guys to the ground. So it's kind of a play on words, and they're smart. They're smart guys in the Ivy League. Hey, we're going to come out and say we don't tackle in practice. Well, yeah, neither do we. Like I in high school, I never really have too many periods throughout the entire year where we're going to take a guy to the ground outside of a scrimmage.
Right.
And we just don't do it because you can't afford to lose guys, especially on the high school level. I can't lose my best, linebacker because, of a tackling situation because we're trying to show each other how tough we are.
So you run your practices like an NFL style in the high school level?
Nah, we're more college style with the exception of, hey, I don't believe in, beating each other up in the sense that, hey, we're trying to show each other how tough we are.
Right,
the tough guys are going to be tough, and we practice hard, we practice full speed, but it's hard to teach that on the high school level. So I can't teach what we learned in the NFL because I actually went through college first and then went to the NFL. So I can't teach them NFL mentality because they just don't get it. Like trying to have a walkthrough, it's almost like, hey, this isn't a walkthrough. It's full speed, but we're walking through it. They just don't understand that.
Yeah.
So really, it's teaching proper technique, teaching proper leverage. So one, guys aren't getting hurt, and two, they, when they go into the game into live situations, they're used to doing it because they're doing it full speed at practice. You just don't have to take a guy to the ground. And I think that's where when you talk about, we don't tackle in practice. Well, most people don't tackle in practice. If I'm taking Anthony Thomas to the ground when I'm in Michigan, or, I tackle David Terrell to the ground, the coaches are going to get pissed off because they don't want to lose that guy at practice.
Did any of your kids see the concussion movie? And if they did, what were their questions or reactions to you?
A lot of them, would ask, "Hey, coach, is it like that? That's tough." It's an eye opener, in a sense, because and then we're talking about in that situation, older guys, in their 40, late 40s, 50s, but they understand like what we're trying to accomplish when we know, hey, I'm not going to let a guy, continue to play when, coach, I'm all right. No, you're not all right. You're going to sit down for the rest of the game. It's not worth it, because we know that repeated situations like this will affect you in the long run.
Right.
And I think they get a better understanding of, okay, we need to listen and learn how to do things properly, because we don't want to end up in a situation where, you just don't know what's going on. I think that was the biggest thing about that movie. It's not about necessarily the concussion, but really the understanding of, hey, this is what's going on. This is what can happen if you're doing things the wrong way. Let's address it. So now that we understand it, we can prepare better, and guys will be safer in the long run.
One last thing here with former NFL linebacker, former University of Michigan linebacker, Cato June. He was an All-Pro. He's a Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion, all those good things. Follow him online on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook at Cato June. Last thing I got for you. I want to ask you about your alma mater and your boy, Jim Harbaugh. Like, that dude is a weirdo to me. And I don't say that in a bad way. I say that in a real, like, refreshing, a dude that's like, I don't give nobody nothing type situation. Like, he's in Florida right now, having spring practice right now. And these folks down here in the SEC are pissed. Cause now I want to ask you, do you see the things that he's doing, like spending the night over at recruits' houses and just weird stuff like that? What's the talk amongst the Michigan people? And then secondly, they had a much better season last year than people predicted them to preseason. But going forward, will that Michigan-Ohio State rivalry, will it start to mean something again for everybody, not just for the two teams going forward with him and Urban Meyer in the Big Ten now?
Yeah, the Big Ten, which is 16, which is like, whatever.
Weird, right?
I think, one, when you look at a guy like Albert Einstein, everybody probably thought he was weird too, but in turn, later on, he becomes a genius. Yeah. I think a lot of stuff he's doing is genius. The way he comes off is a little different. It's a little different. And everybody doesn't have, people person. Everybody loves Hulk. He's a people person. He's a good guy and all that. And when we talk about Harbaugh, it's like, oh man, he's a little different. He's weird, But at the same time, he's very, very passionate about football and about winning, and he's figured it out. Like, he's not saying, hey, let me try to rub people the wrong way. I think he said, hey, what can I do to get better and win?
Yeah.
I got to put myself in a situation to say, hey, you know what? Basketball teams travel all the time. They go to Hawaii. They go across the seas. They go play in exhibitions. Why can't we do the same thing? And to me, that makes sense. You're finding ways to make it interesting, get the guys involved, and get those guys excited about being a part of Michigan football, and not the old way of saying, hey, you guys are just excited because, we're Michigan. And that served its purpose at a time, but that time is over. These kids need to be rejuvenated, and they need to, feel a part of a program, not only that has a storied tradition, but is doing things ahead of the curve. We're doing stuff the guys that just hasn't even been thought of doing before, which is great, because people are talking about Michigan again.
Yep.
And that's the biggest thing.
And
people are talking about it. Kids are excited to go there. It's a great thing for the university, a great thing for Michigan football.
And it's so funny that it just comes across to me like the people that are mad about it are like, damn, why didn't we think of that? You know what I mean? Like, we let this crazy dude come up with it. Now we got to call it crazy. When really, yeah, you're right. It's ingenious. Ladies and gentlemen, he's Cato June. Cato, man, I appreciate you taking the time out your schedule to join me today, man. You really brought a lot to the show, and hopefully we can do this again pretty soon, man.
Hey, man, anytime, Mike.
All right, have a good one. He's Cato June. Once again, former Super Bowl champion, played with Peyton Manning, who hung it up today. Former alumni of Michigan University, the Wolverines. Follow him online, Twitter, Instagram. Maybe I shouldn't say that no more. Follow him in the social media world at Cato June, at CATO. June. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the NFL, bring it a little bit closer to home after we do, of course, on this day, take our daily look back. But we got to talk about this Roddy White situation. We got to talk a little bit about some of the free agency things that are going on and how they may affect your particular team or the particular team here in the city that I'm in, Atlanta, Georgia. We'll do all that next right here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Heard on Spreaker.com and the app for all your mobile devices. Make sure you're following me on Spreaker, Twitter, and Instagram at One Mic with Big Mike. That's the number 1, MIC, WITHBIGMIKE.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, game show host, father of 5, and all-around big dude. I'm also an expert on drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind, like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind, like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama, like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
One mic.
All I need is one mic.
What's the name of the show?
One mic with Big Mike.
You know, ain't nobody getting hurt, ain't nobody, there's no crime being committed.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
This is real life stuff that's happened to me.
Well, you know what?
You, and you.
One mic with Big Mike.
I like to be able to do what I want to do.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limits.
Meek Mill's concert is not called the Hell Yeah I Bang Khloe Kardashian concert.
And now, your host.
Put your hands together for the one, the only
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
Hour number 2 right here on the One Mic with Big Mike show on a Monday. Appreciate it. Cato June, once again, he joined us last segment to talk a little bit about Peyton Manning's retirement, his experience with the Indianapolis Colts when he was a teammate of Peyton Manning. We also talked a little bit about his alma mater, the University of Michigan, and some stuff regarding his new career, his post-NFL football career, which is high school coaching. So we talked a gamut of things. If you don't get to see the show live, it's all good. Or if your friends don't get to hear the show live, tell them they can always log on to Spreaker.com or download the Spreaker app. And everything that I've done back until November will be right there available for them. Pretty soon here, it'll all be available on OneMicWithBigMike.com. But until then, you guys can always check it out on Spreaker. Also, make sure you're following me on Twitter and Instagram at the number 1 MIC, WITHBIGMIKE. Once you're listening to the show live, make sure you click the little thought bubble at the bottom of the screen. And once you click that thought bubble, you'll show up in my live interactive chat room. You guys can holler at me and go back and forth about different subject matter or whatnot. Or if you got any topical ideas, by all means, share them. Also, don't forget, give you guys a chance to win some tickets to check out my guy Rodney Perry at the Atlanta Comedy Theater right off of Jimmy Carter Boulevard. If you're here in the metro Atlanta area, you guys can check him out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. He'll be doing going throughout the entire weekend. Funny dude. I just talked to him. If you listen to the show on Friday, had a wonderful, wonderful conversation with him on Friday about, a gamut of things. But like I say, it's all on the Spreaker website if you guys want to check out the interview with Rodney Perry. Now, before we get into the rest of our NFL talk, we already talked about Peyton Manning's retirement and all those things and kind of the ramifications that that's going to kind of ripple down to the Broncos. But we'll talk about some other guys who are going to become free agents and maybe how they'll affect either your team or the team here locally where I'm at in the city of Atlanta. But before that, we'll take a look back into the annals of sports, and we call it On This Day.
Now, let's take a look back. On this day.
All right, it is your Monday edition of On This Day. On this day in 1857. This is when baseball decided that 9 innings would constitute an official game, not 9 runs. So before it was like the first person to get to 9, you win. That sucks. Well, that might be a little bit better now. Well, nah, because it take those dudes forever to score like 4 runs sometimes. Damn, I wonder how long these games were then. Anyway, on this day in 1982, the NCAA tournament selection was televised live for the first time. I'm assuming before that it was on some sort of tape delay like the NBA was. You guys remember that back in the day, NBA being on tape delay. On this day in 1986, the great one, he makes plenty of appearances on this particular segment of the show, Wayne Gretzky. He breaks his own, of course, NHL season record with his 136th assist. On this day in 1987, here's a weird one. Iron Mike Tyson beat Bone Crusher Smith in 12 rounds for the heavyweight boxing title. Like, we don't really think about Mike Tyson that way. A dude that's fighting some dude for 12 rounds. It's like Mike show up to the ring and just blow on cats and then, well, that may be a wrong use of, and just like swing at a cat and then the wind just knock him out and it's time to go home. Everybody just got to go home and lose their pay-per-view money because Mike ain't let the fight go no longer. But it took him 12 rounds to win the heavyweight boxing title. On this day in 1988, Jim Abbott, who was, if you guys don't remember, he's a one-handed pitcher. He won the 58th James E. Sullivan Award for, I think it's for like outstanding amateur in baseball. Yeah, Cat was playing for he had a long career. I don't know if it's long, but he had a career with the Angels, LA Angels, pitching with one hand. He like switched the glove after he pitched it. It was some amazing crap. On this day in 1996, Irvin Magic Johnson became the second NBA player to reach 10,000 career assists. I think Magic's still at the top of that list, or he's second to John Stockton, I think. And finally, this is apropos, on this day in 2012, Peyton Manning holds a press conference. And in that press conference, he announced that he will be leaving the Indianapolis Colts. Yep, that was that day. Same day he retired, the same day he held the same type of press conference. It can only be that way with Peyton Manning. You know what I mean? It can only be that succinctly. It probably was at the same time, too. Very same time, very same day. As well, I mean, if you guys don't know, Peyton Manning announced today. Oh, by the way, that is your Monday edition of On This Day. Yeah, Peyton Manning announced his retirement today. He's no longer going to be playing NFL football. And now it's just about pitching Papa John. That dude owns 21. That dude owns 21 Papa Johns. Yeah, he's going to be eating for a long time. I ain't talking about pizza, cuz. Goodness. Good for him, dude. He got a relationship with the boss man and bought in him. I think Jerry Jones got a bunch of them, too. I don't even like Papa John's pizza. You know what I mean? I'm a Pizza Hut guy. People say Pizza Hut pizza's so greasy. Well, I worry about the old arteries another time. I work out. I try to keep that balance in my life as far as, if I'm going to eat crap, which I don't normally. I don't eat a lot of junk, but if I'm going to, I try to keep myself, on the weights and whatnot, and make sure I'm getting a good sweat and a good lift in every, couple of days, 3-4 times a week. Knock that thing out. Yeah, I'm a Pizza Hut dude. I used to work at Pizza Hut back in the day, too. I used to deliver pizzas. Yeah, that was like hustling crack sometimes, dude. Especially when you go to those office parties. You don't eat, boy. Anyway, what was I saying? The NFL here. Let's talk about the NFL. Free agency starts officially on Wednesday, but today marks that little grace period that they're given to kind of work out little deals and things of that nature so that when Wednesday hits, you know who's going where. The other thing that happened the other day, I don't know if you guys know Deflategate is still going on. Yeah, they're in the appeals process right now. And apparently the NFL, they struck some type of victory in the I guess the first round of appeal. I don't know how it really goes, but here's the part that's really crazy. A couple of things are really crazy. To the date that I first saw this a couple of days ago, the NFL spent $20 million on a couple of underinflated footballs in a game in which the team who is accused of deflating the footballs, they killed the other team by like $1 million. I mean, like, here's the deal. I've said this, and I'm on record as saying Tom Brady and those boys, those trainers, they did something to those balls, and Tom Brady knew about it. You know what I mean? But here's the deal. No one died. You don't have video of nobody's wife getting knocked out in no damn elevator. Everyone else has moved on, but Roger Goodell and the NFL have not. And here's like the revelation that came out of the proceedings, I guess you want to call them. The fact of the matter, these dudes said they have to continue to go on this route and continue to pursue this case to justify the $3 million they spent on the Wells report. You know, the guy who actually did the investigation for the NFL on the PSI and all that kind of craziness. They have to justify that $3 million by spending $20 million. I have one question. Where they do that at? Yeah, that's bad math all the way around. I went to public school. It's real, and then the fact that as you heard the other day, Brady got extended by a couple of years. That dude can still be suspended, like next year, year after, whenever this gets resolved, because it's gonna be a minute. They can come back and proactively suspend him. God, they're such turds, man. It's like, when did football become this? When did everyone? The title to this episode. Perspective is dead. No one is willing to put anything in its proper, in my opinion, what I'm calling proper perspective. And I got a bunch of stuff on my notes today about that same thing, so we'll get to those things. So yeah, free agency going on, guys like for the people here in Atlanta, guys like Mario Williams, James Laurinaitis took a visit, linebacker from the Rams, which caused the Falcons to put a second round tender. That's pretty high for a guy like Paul Warlow. So anybody signing Paul Warlow, I think it's like $2.5 million or something like that. Maybe something. I don't know the actual figures. But somebody signs him, they have to give the Falcons some compensation in the form of a second round pick, which no one's doing that. No one's giving up a second round pick for a linebacker that misses as many tackles as Paul Warlow and has a real hard time sometimes in pass coverage. That's going to be the Falcons' problem. That's not even nothing to worry about. But, of course, James Laurinaitis is in the building. He didn't really – he started off his career out of Ohio State. Tackling machine. Not so much as of late. You know what I mean? Still has over 100 like in every season, but, it's the NFL. The tackle stat is kind of – I don't know. It's just kind of arbitrary. It's like errors in baseball and things like that. Maybe a hit, maybe an error. Flip a coin. When it comes to stuff like the old falling. Like, that's the Paul Warlow thing. Chasing down the field 20 yards and falling the pile when the DBs catch him. You get a half a tackle. So, yeah, that's going to happen, man. I actually have, and this is kind of important, so what your team is looking like as far as cap money is concerned. I'm not sure where I got this from, though. Maybe the Bleacher Report. The Falcons here in the city of Atlanta, they have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. They're like right in the middle. Look at that. Almost right in the middle when it comes to cap space. They are like $24.5 million. The only guys that are ahead of them as far as the division is concerned is, of course, the Panthers. The Panthers have about $27 million in cap space to spend. And here's the thing. Fans everywhere, and particularly here in Atlanta, everybody can't come here. And nor should you want everyone to. Oh, we ought to get him. I'm on Facebook now, and I'm really starting to get the gist of the whole Facebook situation. You know what I mean? I'm starting to understand how it works and the benefits of it. But yeah, everybody can't come here, B, and nor should you want to. That's not how. If your goal as a fan is to see your team win a championship, yeah, that's not how it's done. You got to draft well. You got to develop guys. You got to get some of those late round gems to produce as though, you know, they're top tier picks. We just got to talking to Cato June. He talked about guys like Bob Sanders and Gary Brackett's and guys like that. Guys that work their asses off. Guys like, you know, Robert Mathis. Where did Robert Mathis go to school? Alabama A&M or some damn where? Yeah, guys like that who people don't really see coming. Even guys, Dwight Freeney went to Syracuse, but he's short. You know, couldn't play. People didn't think he could play defensive end in the league. Dwight Freeney's still playing and still making plays. You know what I mean? So just, you know, be easy. You know, be easy. If there's any issue that I've had on a consistent basis, you know, living here in the city of Atlanta and hearing the angst, I guess you want to call it, of the fan base here, is that what I've noticed is that there's an inability to draft well and be strategic in your drafting, and the players that you're drafting to develop them. Like all these guys that the Atlanta Falcons have drafted and now are doing other jobs. I don't know how many of these dudes are even in the league anymore. They weren't all bad football. I fail to believe that they were all bad football players. You know what I mean? But what I do know is that they were the wrong football players for this particular organization. And that's a problem. You got to draft for what you do. And if you don't know what you do, you run into situations like the Atlanta Falcons are in right now. You're always scrambling at draft time and reaching for guys that you have no business reaching for. Speaking of a good draft pick of the Atlanta Falcons, Roddy White. We talked about Roddy on Friday. He was released after, 11 years here with the Falcons. And a lot of people, have Roddy in that bubble. You know, we always talk about the bubble. I always talk about the bubble that we put our favorite players in, and we always want these guys to be good forever, and that's not the case. You know what I mean? They're not going to be good forever. At some point, you know, Father Time's gonna knock on that door and say, "Hey, come with me. We gotta go." And Roddy's time came. Now, the circumstances surrounding it are now being made available, and I'm gonna say this for all the people who always say, "Well, that's just one side of the story." In all fairness, you have to do the same thing now. You know, like Roddy saying Kyle Shanahan basically ran him out of town. He and his agent said that he gave the organization an ultimatum in English. Either Roddy goes or I go. They can't do that. You know what I mean? And Shanahan hadn't spoken. You know, Dan Quinn has spoken. Dan Quinn said that, no, that's not how it went down. I didn't speak to anybody about this situation. It was me. You know, it was time for Roddy to go. Vaughn McClure of ESPN actually got some time to talk with Roddy. And, Roddy's always been a dude that, like, he's going to talk. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he's an emotional guy. You know, as you know, most players are, you know, and it's not like over emotional. He's just like, he has a regular human being's emotion, you know, when it comes to things that disappoint you or things that make you mad and things of that nature. He says, here's a quote from him. "Last year, going through the whole situation, I knew I was going to be on the team because they said I was going to be on the team. But this year, they didn't say that." End quote. Now, see, this is, to me, that's management-wise. There's no reason for you to tell this dude at any time he is or isn't going to be on the team. You know what I mean? Because just like he did, the time you don't tell him, yay or nay, he's figured it out. And now you got a problem on your hands. You know what I mean? If you decide, whether you decide to keep him or don't keep him, he's already feeling like, yeah, something else is surrounding this. He goes on to say, quote, "I expected to be a bigger player, play a bigger role in the offense, and that's what I wanted to do. But he," speaking about Shanahan, "didn't have that in his desires. He had other people that he wanted to play my role. So he wanted me out of the offense, end quote. Here's the problem with this, from my eyes. When you say that about an offensive coordinator, you got to understand that you're implicating a lot of other people in doing so. Like, to a lesser extent, not to a lesser extent, you're implicating the head coach because he watches the films too. You know what I mean? So when the game's over on Sunday and they riding back on the plane, or if it's a home game, they go back to the facility, and Dan Quinn is watching the game with his coaching staff, you'd have to assume that if what people think they're seeing, like, I hate to have conversations with people when you talk about, like, secondary players or wide receivers and guys like that, when they say, man, look at that, look how open he was. You don't have an all-22 look. You have television camera angles, and I'm telling you, it's different. It is a different ball game. That being said, even if Roddy's open, I made this point during the season. It's a certain thing. It's a such thing as getting open on time. You know what I mean? And Roddy's 34 now. He's been in the league 11 years. Like, he's not getting better, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, ask Dre Johnson. Just got cut and vowed to be back next year. Well, the league will let you know that, Dre. You know what I mean? Reggie Wayne said the same thing. Your boy from Miami said the same thing. And he had to go home. You know what I mean? He had to dip. Came back with the Patriots, and they was like, this ain't going to work out. We got to amicably part ways, Reggie. You know, guys like Greg Jennings just got cut today. Like, it's a young man's game. It just is what it is, man. And all the answers to anybody's questions will be answered. If he doesn't get on with another team, well, you know. You know what that is. If he does, let's wait and see how he does. You know? Let's see what happens. Because the Texans held off a long time before letting Dre Johnson walk. There was plenty of times where he held out and demanded trades and things of that nature. And they held on to him for a minute before finally saying, nah, your value to us isn't that great anymore. You're going to need to find yourself another place of employment. And he did. He went to Indianapolis. And everything fell apart for he and Frank Gore. So let's just see. But this conspiracy, this thing where Kyle Shanahan froze Roddy White out of the offense, that's tough. That's a steep hill to climb. Essentially because to do so, you would assume like Matt Ryan would have to be in on it, you know, because Matt Ryan is actually playing a football game. And it's hard for me to believe that Kyle Shanahan would be in Matt Ryan's ear during the game, like, all right, I'm going to call this, 74Z post and make sure you do not throw the ball to Roddy White. That's one of those kind of far-fetched things, man, that I can't put myself in the space to believe that. You know what I mean? So going past that, you got to believe that Julio, the best receiver on the team, that's Roddy's boy. Now, you would think if something like that was going on, Roddy would talk to his homeboy about it. Like, these dudes, I see them on, like, Instagram. They hanging out, like, just in reality hanging out. Not even just on the field, off the field. They hanging out. So you would think he would be like, man, this some bull, man, what Shanahan doing? And Julio would say something. Because it was at one point during the season where the Falcons lost, and Julio hadn't had a touchdown in 5 or 6 games after having that amazing start to the season. I'm talking about personally for Julio. Obviously, the team started off well, but Julio started off on a tear. And at one point, he made a statement that, I don't know what the hell is going on. We practice certain things, but then when game day comes, we don't do those things. You know, to me, again, that's an indictment on your offensive coordinator and your head coach. You know what I mean? Like, you got to man your ship, cuz. Like, if this kind of stuff is going on, if players are feeling that way, you got to address it, man. You know, and I'm not, I don't, this isn't something that I'm willing to take sides on because it sounds crazy. And everything will inevitably come out in the wash. Like, everyone today hates Kyle Shanahan because Roddy White has essentially told you to. He knows. You know what I mean? He knows y'all love him. You know? And it took him a little bit to get to that point with you people. Here in Atlanta, I'm talking. Because you hated him for so long. But now he rose to that place where you love him. He's a Falcon for life. He was talking about it all offseason. I'm a Falcon for life. Well, not so much. Not so much. There was chatter also. There was talk of Roddy White not being able to learn the offense. He addressed that by saying Shanahan was doing. He was talking about the things he was doing, like making 6 variations to one route. He says, quote, it was just episodes throughout the game where I think he mismanaged things and screwed up, and we didn't have the opportunity to win the game, which I thought was on him as offensive coordinator. See, that's tough, man, because I don't know which games he's necessarily pointing to, but you heard Cato June talk about it in the last segment. It's a team situation for me. I don't believe in quarterbacks getting wins and losses. I think that's ridiculous because with that type of thought, Peyton Manning got a win in the Super Bowl, but really did he? Because Von Miller didn't get a win. I don't hear people talking that. I don't think it should be, because football is a sport that nothing happens unless everybody else is making it happen at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, Peyton Manning can take that snap if he want to and just try to hand it off to somebody or throw it. But if the people in front of him aren't doing anything or the wide receivers aren't running, nothing happens. Roddy was asked if he attempted to speak to Shanahan. And he said, he says, quote, man, I talk to him just about every other day about everything. That's a bit extreme. I'm just saying. Like, if you're talking to him every other day, that could wear on a person. You know what I mean? And I want people to help just kind of read it objectively with some perspective. You know what I'm saying? Imagine that. Imagine you trying to do your gig. You new to the gig, and the dude that's been here is constantly hounding you. Hey, I don't know how he's saying it, but whatever it is, just imagine that being a situation. He goes on to say, quote, but it's like, if I'm talking to you and it's not getting no better, what do you expect from me? End quote. Do your job, B. You getting paid, I'm getting paid. Everybody do their job. And I'm not a fan of like personal stuff, getting itself intertwined in business. I think that's weird and stupid and it's immature. But it happens. People start talking about, yeah, we like a family around here. Yeah. Until that fateful day comes. So Roddy was out of the country when he got cut. They called him. He didn't answer. He said he didn't know it was Dan Quinn, but I would assume that you have your coach's phone number in your phone, right? But either way, whatever. But he said he ended up texting him, and he texted him back, and he was like, yeah, whatever. Quinn wanted to do that whole, when Roddy gets back from vacation, we can sit down and talk. Roddy gave him the old Heisman, like, ain't nothing to talk about. I don't work for you no more. We're not on the same team no more. What are we going to talk about that's going to change anything? And I agree with him on that. It's like, yeah, like don't start pouring salt in my wound now. Just cut it, let me heal, and I'm gonna move on. And we're gonna see what happens next year. And I advise everyone who is a big Roddy White fan or whatever. First of all, we're in a different day and age. If that's your team, let that be your team. No matter who goes, who comes, who goes, let that be that, because the person that's there this year, there's no guarantee that person will be there next year. You know what I mean? And then everybody's stuck. You know what I mean? You stuck looking crazy because why? Oh, man, I'm so sad, man. Mike Vick got locked up and didn't nobody help him. Heard that one before. Yeah. Just let it ride, man. I understand Roddy's frustration. I've been fired, man, under some real crazy circumstances myself, man. I ain't liking that one bit. And if I could have, like what they say, I would have went back to being my old self. You know what I mean? But nah. The thing that's going on today, where everything that happened last season with the Falcons is Kyle Shanahan's fault. I specifically remember an instance where the slowest dude on the field, Jameis Winston, picked up like a 3rd and 29, where everybody that wasn't watching him was giving piss poor effort to tackle him. Yeah, that don't really fall on your offensive coordinator, man. That you got a defensive minded head coach, and the toughness level, the mental toughness of the football team for a lot of the times wasn't there. That blowout to the Panthers, when who was it? Robert Alford got a ball called on him and just stopped and started looking around. I don't know if Kyle Shanahan had anything to do with that, man. I just don't. We'll come back for the last segment of the show, the One Mic with Big Mike show right here on Spreaker.com every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, live at 7 o'clock. Make sure you tell a friend and tell a friend. And you yourself, follow me on Spreaker at the number 1, MICWITHBIGMIKE. Use that same handle to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And for Facebook, same thing, like my page, One Mic with Big Mike, except for spell the one out, ONEMICWITHBIGMIKE. We get back. I want to talk about this Aaron Andrews situation. Yeah. It went down today, man. I got to talk about that, and I got to talk about what happened in the UFC and with the Golden State Warriors this weekend. So hopefully I can get all that out within about 28, 27 minutes. I'll be right back.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I heard on the news about that 5-year-old who found his uncle's gun. The kid didn't know it was loaded.
I heard on the news about that 14-year-old girl who was bullied online for like a year. She couldn't take it anymore, so she got her dad's gun from his nightstand.
I heard on the news about that guy who broke into someone's house, stole a gun from the hall closet.
He accidentally shot his cousin in the head.
She killed herself.
And later, killed the owner of the store he was trying to rob.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearms storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. On this Monday, it is the One Mic with Big Mike show right here on Spreaker.com. Take some time out to download the app as well for your mobile devices, either Apple, Android, or Windows. And then follow my show, the number 1, MICWITHBIGMIKE. Also use that handle for my Twitter and Instagram as well. And as far as Facebook goes, like my Facebook page at facebook.com/ONEMICWITHBIGMIKE. You can also send me emails now. Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. The onemicwithbigmike.com website coming soon. The other thing that I'm working on, I told you guys a little bit about it last week, Urban Sports Online. That's coming as well. A little different take on, your average everyday sports talk. Something like this, but more widespread is the inevitable goal. So I'll keep you guys abreast of that as we move forward. Also, make sure you guys are following me. Definitely make sure you're following me on Twitter and Instagram at One Mic with Big Mike, because I'm going to be giving away some tickets to check out my guy Rodney Perry this weekend here in Atlanta at the Atlanta Comedy Theater, either Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. You get your choice of which day you want to go. If you want to go to AtlantaComedyTheater.com, you can check out what times the shows are. I think there's like 2 shows on Thursday and Sunday or something like that. You guys can check it out. I don't want to tell you guys wrong, but you guys can check out what day you want to go on, and then I'll tell you guys via social media once the show is over what you got to do to win. That's probably gonna be like a what is it, a trivia question. I'll think of a trivia question to give you guys, and first person that inboxes me the answer, you get a pair of tickets. So today, right before the show started, I saw Aaron Andrews' case is now solved. The case against the Well, the guy's already in jail. The guy who was the peeping Tom that filmed her inside her hotel room, he's already in jail. But then she sued him and a couple of hotels, now the hotel chain, I guess, for the handling of her situation. She sued him for $75 million. And she won a judgment of $55 million. Yeah, $55 million. I don't know the details of how. I know that there's 3 separate amounts that she'll get to make up that $55 million. One amount from the actual perpetrator, and I think 2 separate amounts from 2 different hotel chains. And I'm so conflicted about this because like last night. Okay, full disclosure, I share with you guys, right? One of my new buddies, the young lady, as a matter of fact, who hooked me up with this Cato June interview today, and I definitely appreciate it. I think she posted a story last night about a young lady, actually here locally in Greene County. I think that's where Augusta is, like Greene County. Her teachers told her that she might be the stupidest girl he's ever known, and she caught it on tape, maybe audio recording, because she was doing work on a school issued iPad. So she recorded him saying this, and he said something about her being so stupid she's only gonna be able to grow up and have sex and make babies and not have a career or something to that nature, Definitely and obviously inappropriate, right? But I think what she wrote on her post was like, this is one of the most outrageous things I've ever seen. And I was like, hold on, that's a little hyperbolic. It's the most outrageous. To me, at the most rudimentary level of things, she got called a name. And I don't know if I'm real sensitive to it, but I'm real acute. I'm real aware of when people say things like, I'm always calling that stuff out. Like when people are hyperbolic about it, like even in sports, when people say, "You're a great running back." Wait, why? Wait a minute, great. Can we tone it down a little bit? Like everything can't be great. Like my man Alec Campbell says to me, he believes this to the core, and I believe him, that if everything is great, then nothing is. You feel me? So anyway. It's the most outrageous thing she's ever seen. I was like, damn, the most? Like, I've seen some outrageous things. Like, I watch a lot. Like, my new favorite thing is Vice. God, what is it called? Viceland, right? It used to be History 2 on cable. But Vice, they do, the way it was described to me when I first got introduced to it, well, I thought I was introducing it to somebody, but they had already known about it. He was like, I heard him tell somebody it's like 60 Minutes on steroids, and it is. And you get a real in-depth view of the world we live in. Like it's kids being blown up. It's people in Africa. I think it's the Republic of Congo. You know what I mean? People being beaten to death for simply being gay. Women being raped for simply being gay. You know what I mean? And it's one of those, it's like, ugh. In comparison to a girl being called a name by her teacher, they kind of pale. Like she's on TV with her mom, and then there's like this, there's this thing where, there's this, what do I want to say? There's this thing where it's gonna ruin her life, and like I say, I know I can be out of the box on certain things, man, but I'm always thinking about my kid. Like, this girl's 17, right? Technically a child, but not really a child, you know what I mean? Someone that's old enough to process stupidity in another person and be aware enough to ignore it. And like, that dude don't know me. And even go the extra mile to say, if that's what you think, watch this. Watch me show you. Use it that way instead of as this crushing blow and a possible crutch later on in life. Well, this happened to me when I was 17. That's why I'm like this now. I'm really, really, really allergic to that type of stuff, man. I am, man. You know, and Renee just messaged me. She messaged me. I asked her if she was gonna listen to the show because I wanted to get some insight from a woman on this Aaron Andrews situation. But she got caught up in some stuff. So I definitely appreciate her, you know, kind of just telling me why she ain't here checking the show out tonight. But no, so I can be a little obtuse when it comes to those things, just because of the compare and contrast. And it ain't about the way I would handle something necessarily. It's just that I love to use the term zoom out, have people zoom out and look at the world through a wider lens, man, and understand that that's not the worst thing that can happen to you. Like, when I see these kids, man, my heart does go out to these kids who feel like somebody talking about their shoes in ninth grade is where their world is going to start and end. And I just feel like, man, as parents, we got to do better, man. I would talk to my son all the time about, you know, find your cool. What's your cool? You find that, and you let everybody else adapt to yours, man, whatever it may be. And so many, like now, man, these kids, man, they losing their perspective on everything in life. I saw something on CNN talking about these kids is like they take like 20, 30, 40 selfies to pick one. Because if it's not one, it could ruin their life. Wait, what? So anyway, back to this Aaron Andrews situation. At the rudimentary level, after everything is broken down, people saw her naked, right? People saw her naked body. She wasn't doing anything X-rated. She was changing clothes, something that we all do, right? Maybe if you're a creepazoid, like, because I saw the video, full disclosure. But if you're like a creepazoid or something, that's something for you. That's something for you to, you know, get off on or whatever. But yeah, it was really some basic stuff. It wasn't nothing. It wasn't Kim Kardashian or what's the other girl's name? Paris Hilton. Saw both of those as well. I might be telling on myself. Anyway, it was for research purposes. Damn it. But no. But she went on to say that how it ruined her life. Her employer at the time, ESPN, told her she needed to go on Oprah and clear it up or whatever. But inevitably, and maybe it didn't feel that way at the time, like that was going to catapult her career. And I think that's why she brought that up, because it was said that maybe she staged it to advance her career. You know what I mean? Which, you know, weird things have been done. I mean, whatever. But apparently she didn't. But she went on Oprah, spilled the beans, and told everybody what happened. But it's one of those things, man, like, I don't know, man. I've seen, and I really wanted to get a woman's perspective on it to see if there's some sort of correlation. Because I've seen women, man, who've been, like, beaten up, raped, you know, the way it affects them mentally. And Aaron Andrews is carrying on in that way. And I don't know that she shouldn't be. It just seems weird to me. You know what I mean? It just seems weird that she is, because, like I say, inevitably, people saw her naked. And it's not like she got something to be ashamed about either. She's talking about how it ruined her relationship with her man. And she was always wondering when she saw somebody on their phone if they was looking at her. It's like, man, that kind of stuff is way more deeply rooted than some dude just peeping timing you. Maybe. I don't know. It's a weird thing, man. It's a weird type of thing, and the world is getting weirder. Not even the world. I would say American society is getting weirder. Like, I would have to believe that if I lived in another country, right, like one of those countries like where a damn bomb could go off on my way to the store, to the market or whatever, to see the kind of trivial things that people fall all over themselves about in this country would probably be comical to me. You know what I mean? Like, you wonder why people will break their neck and damn near die to get into this country, because it looks like, damn, if that's their biggest problem, run it. Run it every day, twice on Sunday. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Before we get out of here, because we only got like 15 minutes left, some of the other stuff that went on this weekend. The Golden State Warriors lost the basketball game. That makes 6, ladies and gentlemen, all season with 20 to go. So that's 1 every 10 games, essentially, that they're losing right now. Give or take, right? So, people try to get so deep and like figure stuff out or whatnot. Look at the teams they're losing to: Dallas, Milwaukee, the Lakers. They only lose to bad teams. Well, I haven't even done this, right? But I would guarantee you, I'd be willing to put some good money on it, that these teams that have beaten them, if in fact we're talking about teams that they've played multiple times, the other times these teams have gotten their asses whooped. You know what I mean? So, let's kind of keep everything in a perspective. I told you guys at the beginning of the show, I saw the whole game, as a matter of fact. And Clay and Steph, 1 of 18. Need I say any more? Only 2 guys in double figures with like 14 and 18 respectively or something like that. You know what I mean? And like the part that nobody really wants to talk about, like they've been in LA for like a whole week and like 3 games in between games, and it was Draymond's birthday. Yeah, turn up. That's all that is. They turned up when they played them young boys. And here's the thing, I told somebody this on Facebook yesterday, that he was like, wow, the Lakers really beat the Warriors? Or he might have stated it a different way, but I was like, look, nah. I said, yeah and nah. Essentially, it was a case of good as I can play versus bad as you can play. And the two things met. And, the Lakers played out of their mind. That kid, D'Angelo Russell, got a chance to see him in the whole game. I like his game. I like his swag and all that kind of stuff. Speaking of swag, Swaggy P. I heard Hubie say that yesterday. It took me to death. Hubie Brown, old ass, talking about, now Swaggy P's in the game, and I'm telling you, this guy can get buckets. Yeah, Hubie, go ahead, my man. So they played well. That Hispanic sounding name kid, I don't know his name. Zach Randolph played well. Roy Hibbert did not. Never. God, man, why did God let him be 7? I mean, if you believe in that, why did he let him be 7'3"? That's the unfairness that I'm talking about. I could have been 7'3", and you do average 4 rebounds. You must be crazy as hell. You must be crazy, dog. I can look up and get half that in an NBA game. Catch me one off a free throw or something. I can get 2 rebounds in an NBA game, dog. Long rebound, box out the shooter type deal. God, I wouldn't be able to go up and down the court that many times. That would probably be my issue. But whatever. Other thing this weekend, before we get out of here on the One Mic with Big Mike show, the Monday edition. Appreciate everybody for joining. If you're listening later on, I appreciate you for downloading or streaming it. Not Ronda Rousey. What's the girl's name? Holly Holm. Yeah, got choked to sleep. Actually, she didn't just get choked like to the point of tapping. Yeah, she got. Yeah, you saw the Z's coming from her head. The little birds flying around in a circle. That was interesting. Yeah, and like it's funny how people are quick to dive onto bandwagons and how quick they are to dive off of them. Like, look, here's the thing. I'm not in that space where I'm like, oh, good for her. And I wasn't in that space when Ronda Rousey got beat. What's the kid name? Conor McGregor he lost this week too. Same thing, choked, but he tapped. Right? I'm not in that space. People are like, that's what they get. Like, who the hell wants to see a meek and humble fighter? Who wants to see that? Like that whole concept of someone getting their ass kicked because they wasn't humble. Shut up. You're ridiculous. That don't sell no damn tickets. Muhammad Ali taught y'all that. He taught everybody. That don't sell no damn tickets. You got to be a mean, bad a-hole, and people pay attention. And when it was over, this kid Conor McGregor still went and turned up at the club. He and Holly Holm went to the after parties. Good for them. Conor McGregor was like, yeah, I got beat by a better dude. And now, as far as the people like, oh, that's gonna hurt the UFC. You don't understand that you've got to. To me, I shouldn't be saying you don't understand. It sounds as though people don't understand judging that sport on its own scale. You know what I mean? It's not about Iona beating Kansas. You know what I mean? It's not about, oh my God, what an upset. No, things happen very rapidly in that sport. I've seen it live in person one time here in Atlanta. Me and my guy Rob Calloway went, and it is amazing. It's an amazing spectacle. For instance, like, you don't even have to be the same size as the dude. I saw, what's that boy's name? I saw Brock Lesnar, and I swear I thought he was going to kill this kid. You know Brock, the wrestler, Brock, he's a huge dude, right? He's like 300 pounds of muscle, period. No body fat. And the other kid was in whatever heavyweight or whatever weight class. But like once you get to heavyweight, there is no cap. You can be like 500 pounds. You a heavyweight, and the other dude is 240. Right? And that was like one of these situations. So he is like killing this dude, cuffing him, bow, bow. He gets on top of him. He's doing like the ground and pound. This boy's face look like Martin. You know what I mean? After the Tommy Hearns episode, yeah, it was like bumpy but that dude was like, he was big. He's big, right? So he started getting tired while he was on top of that dude, punching him in his face. And it was one time he reached back with his hand to like come down again with like a hammer on him, and he reached back too far. And when he did that, dude kicked his legs up, grabbed the arm that he was about to punch him with his legs, had the other one, and was about to break this dude's arm. Brock Lesnar tapped out, and it happened that quick. When the fight was over, had you just said, okay, take this picture, post it on whatever, and say which one of these guys won the fight, you would swear Brock Lesnar won the fight. Because that boy's face needed like some plastic surgery. He beat the brakes off that dude. But one little mistake, because it's not boxing, you're not running around the ring, bouncing off ring ropes, covering up. Because like, let's say a dude try to cover up in MMA. Like a dude, all somebody gonna do is like kick you in your damn stomach. You can kick and wrestle and body slam people. It's a way different sport, so people can't run. So to call things upsets in MMA and in the UFC, I think is a mischaracterization. I think it's because what we're used to doing with college basketball and football and things of that nature. You upset, oh my God, no. Like Ronda Rousey talked about that Holly Holm fight. Like after she finally talked about it, she said, yeah, the first time she punched me, it was over. That's all it took. She snuck one punch in on her, and for the rest of the time that she was able to stand, she was drunk. She was drunk as hell, trying to play it. She said she was trying to play it off, but you saw what happened. Yeah, she got pummeled. She got pummeled, man. So one punch led to a severe ass whooping. And that's all it takes. There was one fight we saw here when we saw it live, and it was so crazy how it went down. I'm sitting there with my man, with Rob, and we looking at this situation, right? Me and him, leading up to, it was John Bones Jones and Rashard Evans, right? Like the mentor and the mentee or whatever. And we're looking at the undercards, and they were all pretty good, and this one was kind of boring, man. And I swear, like, people start booing, and as soon as I was about to say, I started saying to Rob, like, man, this junk need to be, I was going to say it needs to be over. But before I could even get over out of my mouth, all I heard was, bap! That dude done socked that boy in his eye and jumped on top of him so fast, and it was over. And that's exactly how quickly things happen. It's a way different combat sport than boxing, man, that most people are used to. It's a lot more blood. The mat's all bloody and stuff, and people think it's about gore. But these dudes are actually, man, it's how they talk about with boxing being a sport of contrasting styles. Well, it's even more so prevalent because we're not just talking about like southpaws and no. Like, we're talking about the difference between like karate, a wrestler, a jiu-jitsu guy, a boxer. Like, people have all these different skills. And it's just a matter of how you use them and combat them with another guy or girl. Yeah, I like the sport. I don't pay for it, you know what I mean, to watch it. But like, if I'm flipping through the channels and it's on, I'll stay on there and watch a dude get his ass whooped. I will do that. I know I don't ever have to worry about a Mayweather Pacquiao situation. I never have to worry about that happening in MMA. These dudes had a fight. You know what I mean? That's why you got to start calling boxing a fight. Yeah, I'm going to the fight. What, you going to an MMA match? No, I'm going to see Floyd Mayweather and whoever. No, you're not. You're going to a boxing match then. Because the dudes that fight are them dudes with them fingers out of their gloves and they barefooted with them tights on. Those are dudes that's fighting. Yeah, buddy. Let's see. We got about 5 minutes left in the show today, man. Let's see what we didn't talk about. Oh, this weekend. Talked about how nice it was outside, but what is it called? House of Cards is back, dude, on Netflix. Yeah, I tried to crush it this weekend too, but man, my old lady's such a bad binge watch partner, man. Jesus Christ! Like, here's the thing, man. I try to be a good dude. You know what I mean? Saturday, I was in my office getting some work done, and I had the laptop below, like where I have it now, below the desktop monitor. So I'm watching. I started, House of Cards, right? She didn't know I started, but then later on that night, Saturday, we downstairs. I crank it up, and the good dude in me said, all right, I was on episode 3. Started that joint at episode 1 for her. Didn't tell her, didn't even bring it up. Just, on the strength of just being a good dude. Episode 1, let's do this together. Man, halfway through episode 2, she knocked out sleep. So here I am watching the rest of an episode I already saw, and then the next episode that I already saw before I get to the stuff that I haven't. Yeah, I'm done. It's all about me when it comes to binge watching my favorite shows now, man. I can't deal with that. But anyway, yes, I'm crushing it. I don't know how many episodes I have left. I may try to just knock them joints out tonight. I got some stuff to do, but I might try to just knock them joints out tonight, depending on how many I have left. Okay, let's see what else we got that we didn't talk about today. Talked about Roddy White. Marquand Manuel, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who he is, I'm about to tell you. He is the young man who asked Eli Apple if he liked men at the combine. He's the Atlanta Falcons. He's one of the DB coaches, I guess. Let me see. Where is this damn article at? Here it is. He's an assistant coach. That's all they maybe not for long. That's all they describe him as in this article on ESPN. Of course, he did the obligatory apology. It says, quote, I take full responsibility for the inappropriate question I asked at the combine. It was wrong, and I apologize to Eli Apple, Falcons owner Arthur Blank, the entire Falcons organization, my family, and our Falcon fans for my insensitivity. I understand it was inappropriate, and the offense people have taken to it. Okay, there we go. I have had an individual counseling session on social responsibility today. This is real. I didn't even read. I just highlighted it. I didn't even read it till now. And was part of a staff session as well. And found it very valuable in learning from the situation. Moving forward, I will become a better man, Jesus Christ, by going through all of this, end quote. Jesus. This is, God, I guess, man. He had to, get on his knees, man, and get raked over the coals, man. I hate these canned apologies, man. I wonder what happened in those counts. Did anybody, ask the dude, why'd you say it? Did you think he was trying to be funny? Did you hear something about the kid? Did you think he was a homophobic dude, and you wanted to try to bring it out? I'm like, where we at? You know what I mean? And have a conversation, man, as to not just telling somebody, that you're wrong. And not just assuming they know why they're wrong. But have a conversation so that they can understand why it's wrong. Or maybe they say, I don't see nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Obviously, he has to, because it's a part of his job to understand why he can't do that, and legally you can't do that. But someone saying something and someone thinking something are two different things. Now, you may be able to control what somebody says, but it's really hard to control what a person thinks. And I think that's the point. That's the point we have to get to, just in society in general, man. Not just cutting people off at the knees because they say something that we consider to be stupid or whatnot, but find out why and explain to them, to try to have a conversation about why that shouldn't be done, or why you shouldn't think this way about this certain group of people. But that's not the way things happen. It's not at all. the first thing we want to do is be appalled, and that person needs to be fired. Yeah, well, maybe so. Maybe that's part of it. Yeah, fire them, but, instead of firing them and letting them, allowing them to hate that group or that person or that lifestyle, whatever it may be, more, let's be adults and have a conversation. You know what I mean? Especially when we're talking about supposed adults. You know what I mean? All right, that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, for the Monday edition of the One Mic with Big Mike show. Don't forget, OneMicWithBigMike.com is on the way, as well as Urban Sports Online, so be checking for that. Make sure you got me locked in on Twitter and Instagram at the number 1 MICWITHBIGMIKE, and as well on Facebook at ONEMICWITHBIGMIKE. I'm going to have these tickets on deck. I'm going to start to give away tonight, man. For my guy Rodney Perry. If you're here in the in the Metro Atlanta area, he's going to be performing all weekend long. I'm going to be there at the Atlanta Comedy Theater. You can go check him out and get your laugh on. 2 tickets for you and your boo thing. Go out there and have a good time this weekend, man. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. Should be a beautiful weekend here in the A, man. So I just want to bless you guys with that for taking time out of your days, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here on Spreaker to check out the show. But until then, till Wednesday, hump day, get out of here, man, and go watch me some TV or something, get me something to eat. You guys have a good one.